Welcome back to Zcoin. In today's exciting video, we're diving deep into the world of rare and incredibly valuable Washington quarter dollar coins. These aren't your everyday pocket change. These are special, historic, and sometimes mysterious coins that have fetched jaw-dropping prices at auctions and in private sales. So grab your favorite snack and stay tuned, because you might just have one of these million-dollar coins hiding in your collection. Let's get started with the countdown of the top 5 most valuable Washington quarter dollar coins worth millions in today's market. We're diving into a piece of American currency history that might just be hiding in your pocket change, the 1965 Washington quarter. What seems like a common coin could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars under the right circumstances. So, if you've got a stash of old quarters lying around, stick with me. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, what makes these coins special, and how much they're worth in today's hot coin market. Let's rewind to the year 1965. The United States was undergoing major economic shifts. Just a year before, in 1964, the U.S. Mint had struck the last circulating 90% silver quarters. That's right, before 1965, every Washington quarter contained real silver. But due to rising silver prices and widespread hoarding, the Mint had no choice but to make a change. Starting in 1965, quarters were no longer made of silver. Instead, the Mint introduced the copper-nickel clad composition that we still use today. This change was monumental. For collectors, it marked the end of the silver era. For everyday Americans, it meant fewer chances to stumble on real silver coins in their change. So, what exactly is a 1965 quarter? Well, the coin weighs 5.67 grams, is 24.3 millimeters in diameter, and features the familiar profile of George Washington on the obverse, with the bald eagle clutching arrows on the reverse. These coins were minted in enormous quantities, over 1.8 billion were struck, and none of them have a mint mark because they were all produced at the Philadelphia Mint. On the surface, that sounds like a boring coin, a high mintage, no silver content, and no mint mark. But here's where it gets interesting. Despite the switch to clad coins, there's a twist. During the transition from silver to clad in 1965, some silver planchets, that's the blank discs used to make coins, were mistakenly used to strike 1965 quarters. That means there are genuine 1965 quarters out there made from 90% silver. These transitional error coins are the holy grail for collectors. How can you tell if you have one? First, check the coin's edge. A clad quarter will show a copper stripe on the edge, but a silver quarter will have a solid silver edge with no color. Second, weigh the coin. A clad quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, while a silver one weighs closer to 6.25 grams. Finally, if you suspect you have a silver 1965 quarter, get it authenticated by a grading service like PCGS or NGC. These coins can sell for big money. One example sold for over $7,000 at auction. But silver isn't the only thing that can make a 1965 quarter valuable. There are also error coins, and collectors go crazy for them. One type is the double die obverse, where the lettering or date appears doubled due to a misalignment during minting. Another is the off-center strike, where the coin design is not properly aligned, leaving a blank crescent on the coin. And then there are the broad strikes, where the rim is missing due to striking outside the retaining collar. Even more fascinating are the 1965 quarters struck on dime planchets. These coins are smaller, lighter, and missing some design details because the planchet was meant for a 10-cent piece. These errors can fetch anywhere from $200 to $1,000 or more depending on condition and rarity. Like any collectible, the value of a 1965 quarter depends heavily on condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect, flawless coin. Most 1965 quarters you find in circulation will be worn and graded around VF20 to EF40, worth face value or a little more. But high-grade uncirculated examples, say MS65 or better, can sell for $25 to $50 or more. Add in a known error, and you're looking at serious collector interest and potentially four-figure price tags. So, what's the current market like for 1965 quarters? As of 2025, standard circulated 1965 quarters are still worth 25 cents. But uncirculated coins can bring $15 to $50, and error coins range from $200 to over $7,000 depending on the rarity. The silver transitional error is still the top prize. And with more people hunting coins thanks to social media and YouTube, Demand for these rare finds has never been higher. Grading services have reported only a handful of 1965 silver quarters officially, which makes them incredibly scarce and highly desirable. If you suspect you have one, don't clean it, don't alter it, just get it professionally verified. So there you have it. The 1965 quarter, a coin that seemed like just another change in your pocket, might actually be a hidden treasure. Check those edges, weigh your coins, and keep an eye out for rare errors. Who knows? That one coin you almost spent on a candy bar could be worth thousands. Today, we're diving deep into a surprisingly valuable and often overlooked piece of U.S. coinage, the 1981 Washington quarter. You may have a few lying around in your change jar or tucked away in an old drawer. But did you know that some of these coins could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars today? That's right. The 1981 quarter is not just pocket change anymore. In the right condition and with the right characteristics, it could be a small fortune. Let's break down everything you need to know about the 1981 quarter, from its minting history to its rare errors and today's market value. Scene transition, black and white footage of U.S. mint production facilities. Narration. At first, let's look at the basics. The 1981 Washington quarter was minted at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia quarters carry no mint mark. Denver quarters have a small D just to the right of Washington's ponytail. San Francisco quarters carry an S mint mark and were only struck as proof coins for collectors. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Over 601 million quarters were struck in Philadelphia. Another 575 million came from Denver. But the proof coins from San Francisco? Only around 4 million were made. That may still sound like a lot, but when you consider how many of these coins are still in pristine, untouched condition, the number quickly shrinks. Cut to close-up visuals of high-grade quarters. Narration. Condition plays a huge role in value. If you've got a 1981 quarter in circulated condition, worn down from years of use, it's generally worth just its face value, 25 cents. But if you happen to own a coin in uncirculated or mint state condition, especially one graded MS65 or higher by a third-party grading service, the value can start climbing fast. For example, a standard 1981P or 1981D quarter graded MS67 can fetch between $100 to $250 at auction. Even more impressively, a top population specimen graded MS68 can go for over $1,000, and that's without any special errors or variety markings. Cut to dramatic shot of error coins under magnification. Narration. And now let's talk about the real moneymakers, the rare errors. Point: one of the most valuable varieties from 1981 is the off-center strike error. This happens when the coin isn't properly aligned in the press, causing part of the design to be missing. Depending on how off-center the strike is, especially if the date is still visible, these coins can sell for hundreds of dollars. Another hot variety is the double die. While not confirmed as a major release in 1981 quarters, always be on the lookout for doubling in the letters of Liberty or In God We Trust, or even on Washington's eye or hairline. If verified, these coins could skyrocket in value. There are also coins struck on the wrong planchet. For example, if a 1981 quarter was accidentally struck on a 5-cent nickel blank or even a foreign coin planchet, the error can result in massive collector premiums, sometimes exceeding $2,000. Scene shift. A display of slabbed coins, PCGS and NGC labels visible. Narration. Collectors and investors alike pay top dollar for slabbed coins, coins that are graded and authenticated by top-tier companies like PCGS or NGC. If you believe you have a flawless 1981 quarter or a potential error coin, it may be worth the grading fee. Coins graded MS67 or higher are extremely scarce for this year, and only a handful are known in MS68. Proof coins from San Francisco also deserve a special mention. These were never intended for circulation and were sold directly to collectors. If you find a 1981's proof quarter with deep cameo contrast and no signs of handling, it could be worth $10 to $20 or more depending on its grade. And if you find one with a rare error, like a missing mint mark or a misaligned die, now you're talking serious money. Cut to current auction data and sales charts. Narration. Let's talk numbers. As of this year, 2025, the market for high-grade 1981 quarters is on the rise. A 1981D quarter in MS68 recently sold for over $1,200 at auction. Another 1981P, also in MS68 condition, was sold for $1,100. These coins are rare not because they weren't made, but because they weren't preserved. Most people use them for daily transactions. Only a few were carefully stored or pulled straight from mint sets. Even raw, ungraded coins in brilliant uncirculated condition are selling online for between $5 to $15 each, depending on the quality and luster. But again, anything with a certified high grade or error can multiply in value quickly. Scene shift, close-up of a collector's album and gloves handling a coin narration. So what should you do if you have a 1981 quarter? First, check the mint mark. Then, inspect the coin for errors or doubling. Look for sharp details and minimal scratches. If it looks perfect, consider getting it graded. At worst, you're out the grading fee. At best, you've uncovered a small treasure hiding in plain sight. Conclusion: scene, a treasure chest opening with coins sparkling inside. Narration: the 1981 quarter might not seem like much at first glance, just another coin from your childhood or a common piece of change. But dig a little deeper, and you'll find a coin that tells a story of rarity, condition, and opportunity. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a curious beginner, this is one coin worth paying attention to. Today's episode, we're diving deep into a seemingly ordinary coin that could be hiding a small fortune in your pocket change, the 1997 D Washington quarter. You may have handled this coin dozens of times, maybe even spent one at the store or tossed it into a vending machine without a second thought. But today, we're revealing why the 1997 D quarter deserves a second look and how certain rare examples of this common coin are selling for hundreds, even thousands of dollars in today's market. Let's start with the basics. The 1997 D quarter was minted at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the small D mint mark located on the obverse. That's the front of the coin, just to the right of Washington's ponytail. In 1997, over 599 million quarters were struck at the Denver Mint. So yes, it's a high mintage coin, but don't let that number fool you. Even among coins with huge mintage numbers, rare varieties, errors, and high-grade survivors can fetch huge prices. And this is where it gets interesting. So what makes a 1997 D quarter valuable? There are three key factors: condition, rarity, and errors. Let's begin with condition. Collectors seek coins that are in pristine condition, often referred to as mint state. These are coins that have never been in circulation, meaning they haven't been used in everyday transactions. They retain their original luster, have no wear, and are graded on the Sheldon scale from MS-60 all the way up to the perfect MS-70. Now here's the kicker: a 1997 D Washington quarter graded MS-68 by PCG is sold for over $1,500. That's right. A modern quarter, worth 25 cents face value, went for more than $1,000 because of its flawless condition. Why is MS-68 such a big deal? Because it's extremely rare for a modern, mass-produced coin to survive in that high a grade. Most quarters show signs of nicks, scratches, or wear from handling and machine rolling, but it doesn't stop there. Let's talk about error coins, the real treasure hunt. Several types of errors have been found on 1997 D quarters, and they can be worth a lot of money depending on their severity and visibility. Look out for off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the coin wasn't properly aligned when struck. The more dramatic the off-center, the more it's worth, sometimes $100 to $300 or more. Double dies: this happens when the coin's design is impressed twice during minting, causing doubling on letters or numbers. Check the date, motto, or the word Liberty. Even a slight doubling can increase the value. Clipped planchets: this is when a portion of the coin is missing due to an error in the blanking process before the coin was struck. Die cracks or cuds: these result in raised lines or blobs where the die was cracked or broken. While minor ones may fetch $10 to $20, dramatic examples can go for much more. These types of errors are what make a coin truly collectible. They turn a common coin into a conversation piece and potentially a high-dollar item at auction. Now let's talk about varieties. While no major varieties have been officially listed for the 1997 D quarter, some collectors have reported minor repunched mint marks where the D appears to have been struck more than once. These are extremely niche but can still fetch premiums from the right buyer. So where should you look for these valuable quarters? Start with your own pocket change. Check your old coin jars. Visit local banks and request quarter rolls. Sometimes, people unknowingly deposit older or rare coins back into circulation. Also, check local flea markets, garage sales, and estate sales. You never know what's hiding in plain sight. Now, what about current market values? Let's break it down. The circulated 1997 D quarter is generally worth its face value, 25 cents, in uncirculated mint state condition, especially MS-65 or higher. The value can range from $5 to $20 at MS-67 examples, which are far less common, can bring $100 to $300 depending on the grading service. The True Gems MS68 graded by PCGS or NGC have sold at auction for $1,000 to $1,500 or more. Major error coins can range from $50 to over $500 depending on the type and severity, and let's not forget, coin values are market driven. That means they can rise as demand grows. With social media and platforms like YouTube increasing interest in coin collecting, prices for rare and high-grade coins have seen a noticeable uptick in the past few years. One last tip: if you think you found a high-grade 1997 D quarter or a unique error coin, don't try to clean it. Cleaning a coin can significantly decrease its value. Instead, consider sending it to a reputable third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication and grading. That's how you get the most value when selling. So, could that quarter in your pocket be worth big money? Absolutely, if it's the right one. Before we wrap up, here's your takeaway: always check your change. Keep an eye out for high-grade condition, strange-looking errors, or anything out of the ordinary. And remember, the 1997 D quarter might just be your hidden treasure. Today, we're going to uncover the fascinating history and current market value of the 2016 D quarter dollar coins. Some of these coins have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars due to unique errors and rare varieties. If you have a jar of coins at home, you'll want to check your quarters after watching this video. Segment 1: Background on the 2016 D quarters. In 2016, the United States Mint continued its popular America the Beautiful Quarters program. This series honors national parks and sites across all 50 states, the District of Columbia, and U.S. territories. 5 new quarters were released in 2016, each celebrating a different site. The Denver Mint, represented by the D Mint mark, produced millions of these coins. But not all quarters are created equal. While most of these coins are only worth face value, some special ones can be worth much, much more. The 5 2016 designs include Shawnee National Forest in Illinois, Cumberland Gap National Historical Park in Kentucky, Harpers Ferry National Historical Park in West Virginia, Theodore Roosevelt National Park in North Dakota, and Fort Moultrie at Fort Sumner National Monument in South Carolina. Segment 2: Key minting errors and varieties. Let's dive into what makes some of these quarters extremely valuable. The key to value often lies in mint errors and rare die varieties. One of the most well-known valuable varieties from the 2016 D quarters is the Harpers Ferry quarter with a double die obverse, known in the collecting world as a DDO. This means that the details on the front of the coin, such as the inscriptions or Washington's face, may appear slightly doubled. Some of these doubled die errors are very noticeable and highly sought after by collectors. High-grade examples with strong doubling can sell for upwards of $100 to several $100 depending on condition and demand. Another variety to look for comes from the 2016 D Shawnee quarter. Several collectors have found examples with die breaks, sometimes referred to as cuds, where a chunk of the coin design is missing due to a damaged die. These coins are unique and no two are exactly alike. The value of a cut error quarter depends on the size and location of the break, but many have sold for between $20 and $100, with larger cuds fetching even more. There are also off-center strikes from the 2016 D quarters. These errors occur when the coin is not properly centered during the strike, resulting in a partially blank area. Depending on how far off-center the strike is, and whether the date is still visible, these errors can be worth anywhere from $50 to over $200 in the right condition. Segment 3: Grading and condition. When it comes to coin value, condition is king. A coin in mint state condition, which means it shows no signs of circulation wear, is always going to be worth more than a worn coin. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, with MS60 being the lowest uncirculated grade and MS70 being perfect. The most valuable 2016 D quarters are often certified by third-party grading companies like PCGS or NGC. For example, a 2016 D Harpers Ferry quarter in MS67 or MS68 with a known error could sell for hundreds of dollars or more. Even regular strike coins in high grades without errors can be worth between $10 and $50 if they are in exceptional condition. Segment 4: Current market value and auction results. Let's take a look at some recent market values. As of 2024 and into 2025, these are the average price ranges for 2016 D quarters depending on the variety and condition. Regular 2016 D quarters in circulated condition are still worth 25 cents. Uncirculated rolls of 2016 D quarters may sell for between $10 and $30 depending on the specific design. Known error coins like double dies or die breaks can sell from $50 to $500. High-grade certified examples with MS67 or better can sell between $100 and $300, especially if they're part of a registry set. Notably, in 2022 a 2016 D Harper's Ferry quarter with strong doubling on the obverse graded MS66 by PCGS sold for over $800 at auction. Segment 5. How to spot valuable quarters. Now you're probably wondering how to find these valuable quarters. The good news is that they're still out there. Here's what you need to do. First, check the mint mark. Look for the letter D on the lower right side of Washington's portrait. That tells you it's from the Denver Mint. And next, look at the front of the coin carefully using a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Pay close attention to the words Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date. Look for doubling or any strange shapes. Flip the coin over and examine the design. Look for die chips, cracks, or cuts, especially around the edge or inside letters. Check for off-center strikes and ensure the date and mint mark are still visible. And finally, compare your coin to photos from reliable coin error websites or send it in to a grading service if you suspect you have something rare. Segment 6. Final thoughts. The 2016 D quarter dollar coins are a great example of how everyday pocket change can hold hidden treasures. Whether you're a beginner coin collector or just curious about what might be in your change jar, these coins are worth a second look. From doubled dies to die breaks, from pristine mint state examples to quirky off-center strikes, there's a lot of potential in these modern coins. So next time you get change at the store, take a moment and check your quarters. You never know, you might be holding onto a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2016 D quarters and want to learn more about other rare coins worth money, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Let me know in the comments if you've ever found a valuable error coin or if you have any questions about coin collecting. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy hunting!